What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Brinson. I'm your host. It is Monday, November 15th. Week 10 is going to wrap up with a killer matchup on Monday night between the Rams and the 49ers. An NFC West battle between, actually, you know what? The 49ers stink. I don't know why I'm pretending that they're still good, but, such is life. You get 10 weeks in, and you still want to believe that your stupid Super Bowl pick is okay. They need this win. They're at home. They're 3.5-point underdogs, and we're going to tell you how to bet on the game, how to bet on props, what first touchdowns to take, and if you're watching on YouTube, what DFS picks you should make to win $1 million or some large amount of money. The DFS portion will actually be only on YouTube. So subscribe, hit the like button, hit that little bell alarm. You'll get alerts when we go live, and you'll get the full breakdown, of course, on the audio feed as well. Joining me to do so, Tyler Sullivan. Sully, what's up, buddy?
What's going on? Well, yeah, I don't know if I'd call the 49ers a real juggernaut this year, but it is an interesting game because you do have the 49ers with their backs against the wall, and you have the Rams looking to bounce back from that loss to Tennessee. They still have to keep pace in the NFC. So, I mean, like, it is a big game nonetheless.
Well, and let's not forget that they, I don't know if you heard about this guy, Odell Beckham.
Oh, yeah.
They have Odell Beckham now. Robert Woods out for the year with a torn ACL. The day after Odell Beckham actually may have sliced his ACL. Like, we can't prove that he definitely didn't. I mean, obviously that didn't happen, but they signed Odell Beckham. They won the Odell Beckham sweepstakes or whatever you want to call it. Felt unnecessary on a Thursday. Then on Friday, Robert Woods goes down and practice with a torn ACL. Very fortuitous signing of Odell Beckham by the Rams, who are 7-2. In fact, they can't take over first place with a win tonight, but they can be a half game back of first place with a win tonight because the Cardinals currently have the tiebreaker over the Rams. I'll look real quick. I know I looked last night and talked about it on the recap podcast, but at Caesars last night, the Rams were still plus money to win the division. If that is the case, anywhere you are wagering on football, please bet on the Rams. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Yes, they're plus 125 right now.
You take that.
Bet the Rams. What are we doing? They should be minus 150.
Yep.
Like seriously. I mean, the Cardinals are good, very good. The Cardinals are going to the playoffs. Kyler Murray is in the MVP conversation, although drifting out of it mainly because he hasn't played in a couple weeks, and they have a game. We don't know if he's going to play this week. They have their bye after that. They're at Seattle this coming week. Bet on the Rams at plus money.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think Arizona, I don't want to say is content with losing games, but they're at least content with keeping Kyler Murray on the sideline until he's fully healthy.
They should.
Totally true. I mean, listen, they've put themselves in a nice cushion that they'll be in the playoffs. But if you're Los Angeles and you're someone who's looking at these odds, Arizona wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility if they don't play him this week. They just rest him through the bye after that, and then they come back. That's a nice little 2-game cushion there, or a 2-week cushion where they could gain some ground, and all of a sudden those odds will change drastically.
Speaking of odds changing dramatically, I just want to point out that, and I pointed this out like 50 times last night as well, or today as well. Patrick Mahomes now 25-1 to win the MVP. Yours truly has been yelling for weeks about betting on Patrick Mahomes. People are like, this little loon is talking about betting Mahomes to win MVP at 80-1. What is he talking about? I wish I'd bet it. It never popped up in my book. So what you gonna do? I don't know what I'll do. We'll talk about this game. So the 49ers, 3.5-point underdogs at home, a total of 50.5. I'll be honest, like, this is a kind of an auto bet on the 49ers for me. I know that they look terrible. They're playing terrible. Their defense looks bad. Jimmy Garoppolo is not nearly the quarterback that Matthew Stafford is. But in a division game, catching 3.5 at home, I'm going to take the dog. And especially when we just watched an underdog at home and the Raiders get absolutely blasted out of the building on Sunday night.
Yeah, it is one of those, and it's also, it's just one of those weird weeks too. Again, it was very similar to week 9 where just the oddball things happen. I still like the Rams in this. Again, I just think that this is one of those scenarios where it's just a better team. I don't like what I saw from San Francisco last week against the Arizona Cardinals, where it was Colt McCoy, right, who was just, completing 85% of his passes against this team. I can talk away or talk myself into saying with Los Angeles, all right, they didn't really show up great against Tennessee last week, but it's still a good team. Ryan Tannehill, even without Derrick Henry, they have playmakers. I don't know if I can really talk away what's going on with San Francisco against that Arizona team. It's really hard to. And then when you look at their past few games at home, now that we're talking about that, 0-4 against the spread going into this one tonight. I just still believe in the Rams, even though, again, they'll be without Robert Woods. They're trying to put Odell Beckham into this game. To me, I still like the Rams, though. Again, 3.5 is just a little too small for me.
I just realized that this Phillip Rivers football card is above my shoulder. Did I do that? Was it there last night?
Getting ready for the Manning cast tonight?
Apparently, yeah. But very excited for Phillip Rivers. This is actually look at that. A little autograph Phillip Rivers card.
Ooh, all right.
I don't know what kind of card this is. Bazooka Blast bazooka card.
All right. My brother's the big baseball card aficionado. He's super into that stuff.
Boy, I tell you, how old is he?
He is 25.
Oh, okay. So he's got like the good stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
because I've got a bunch of baseball cards here in my office, and they're all worthless. like I have like the 1988 Topps, like full set, and each card is worth 10 cents, maybe.
No, he goes into
ask him if he wants to buy a Derek Jeter rookie card. Or
he goes into the tobacco cards. He has all the old stuff.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, so he's big into it.
Yeah, I've got all the stuff that I collected from my childhood that my mom was like, get this crap out of my house, like about 6 months ago.
That was me with like Pokemon cards. I was like, okay.
Those are worth a ton.
Those are worth, oh yeah, no, we got a few. So me and my brother, we do have a few of those, but that was more me. Pokemon.
Yeah, I've got a disappointing confession to make is that I was like going through these cards that I had to take out of the house, and like I was like, I found some stuff my brother. I probably shouldn't say this on air because my brother will like sue me. But yeah, I was looking through it and I was like, what am I, garbage pail kid cards? Like, what is this crap? And tossed them, and then looked it up online. I was like, oh,
that is
they're worth like $2,000.
The classic move where it's like, oh, yeah. Mom threw it out.
Yeah, no, I threw it out. It's like it was me that threw them out. Anywho, Von Miller questionable for this game. Obviously, Robert Woods out for the game. Just relative to the props when we think about Van Jefferson and Odell Beckham. Mohamed Sanu out for the game for the 49ers. Arden Key and Josh Norman both questionable on the defensive side of things. Alex Mack and George Kittle appear good to go. Very key players, in my opinion, for the 49ers offense. I think those, not the two most important because you got to have the quarterback, got to have the Deebo Samuel, but man, Alex Mack and George Kittle matter a lot. When we're looking at this game, the total at 50.5 is a lot higher than I think it should be. I was when I made my picks for we do this picks league, and you have to you enter your picks and you have to put a tiebreaker in for the Monday Night Football game. I'm in first place, by the way, for this week. If I get a Niners cover and under, then take home the weekly title for $200. Very excited. But I put down 45. I hadn't even looked at the total. I just put down 45 because I put it in on Thursday. That's 50.5 seems a little high for me, although Mack and Kittle being back and defensive injuries, maybe this turns into a shootout if the Rams are sort of tossing it around and the 49ers are trying to keep pace.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. I do think it's a little bit too high. I wonder if San Francisco, how they're going to try to limit this Rams offense. Obviously, you try to play great defense, but one thing that they could also try to do is just run the heck out of the football. I mean, Elijah Mitchell is healthy for this game. He's going to be good to go. I wonder if that's just something that they start to do here where it's like, all right, Kyle Shanahan already likes to, run first type of offense. Is this a way that they try to keep Matthew Stafford in this offense off the field by just trying to, again, kill clock, move it down the field, play a slower pace game? And if that's the case, this thing's going way under.
Yeah, exactly. And it's possible that we see the Rams sort of pull the reins back a little bit on the offense, only because one, Robert Woods out. 2, Odell Beckham in. 3, Odell Beckham no playbook. The guy, we're talking 4 days for this guy to learn the playbook. You can give him some pretty basic. He's a professional wide receiver, professional football player. He can figure some stuff out, but you're asking a lot for Odell Beckham just to, he's not going to come in and run the full playbook. So I think we'll see a lot of Van Jefferson out there. And the other thing that I would be a little worried about with the Rams offense, and I will see how it plays out on Monday night, Robert Woods is, I believe, the top-rated run-blocking wide receiver according to PFF. That's for as much as Cooper Kupp is a key focal point of that offense in terms of catching the football, Robert Woods was crucial in terms of blocking as a wide receiver in the run game, and that could matter a lot for this Rams offense. Kyle Shanahan sort of had Sean McVay. So I think like I'm not sure the exact record is, but Kyle Shanahan has dominated the Sean McVay relationship since the two arrived together in the NFC West. So for me, I'm taking the home dog. Give me the 3.5 and give me the under. You like the Rams in this spot, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I just like the way that they've rebounded recently, and not even recently, just in general under Sean McVay over the last 16 games where they've lost. They're 12-3-1 against the spread. They just seemingly, again, well-coached team. Obviously, we're talking about one of the better young head coaches in the NFL. They bounce back off of these losses. They don't let it snowball into anything particularly worse than that. So to me, I just like this offense much more, even without Robert Woods. I do think that they're going to be getting it together. And with San Francisco, I'm just a little bit more concerned about how they're trending than it is, obviously, with that loss last week.
Oh yeah, they have not been that good. So I don't blame you. Rams going into their bye after this game for whatever it's worth. They are oddly enough 4-0 on the road so far this season. Again, for whatever it's worth. The 49ers, the 49ers have been bad. They're 3-5. They got losses all over the place. And goodness gracious, have they won a game at home? I don't think they won a game at home.
They're 0-4 against the spread in their last 4. I know that.
They haven't won a game at home. They're 0-4 at home. What's the matter with you, Kyle Shanahan? Get it together, buddy. And obviously 0-2 against the Cardinals. Their losses, though, Packers, Seahawks, Cardinals twice, Colts. Not like, you're not playing all-time teams, but those are at least decent teams that you've lost to.
Right, except for last week where it's the backups without Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, even without Chase Edmonds for most of that game. James Conner's running over you.
As you can, and Benjamin. It was humiliating. What am I doing? Why am I trying to talk myself into the 49ers being good? 49ers stink. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some player props. So the weird thing about this game is that if you go to Caesars and you start to look at player props, I don't love the way that they've changed this layout on Caesars.
I know. I liked it earlier in the season where you could click and it was, you could all bunched together.
Yeah, I don't like it where it's like each individual player.
Yeah.
It's nice for searching for the individual players. I don't love it for trying to figure out receiving yard props.
Yeah.
We don't have any Odell Beckham numbers up, I don't believe.
No, I don't believe he's up there, or I think he's only up there for first touchdown, maybe. I think, or is he if he's even on there?
Huh, interesting. I have Odell Beckham numbers on my stupid local. That's weird.
Yeah, very interesting.
Interesting. I like under Jimmy Garoppolo pass attempts 32.5. It was plus money when I sent it the email at 2:38 a.m. after we wrapped up our podcast. Let me see what Jimmy G is. Again, very difficult to deal with this layout. Quit changing it on us, guys. The pass attempts under 32.5, still plus 100. We're on the same boat.
Yeah.
You like the under 32
we're on the same page
as well. We both think that the 49ers want to try to run the football. The Rams are 5th in the NFL in terms of DVOA against the pass, and they are, I think, 14th against the run. So, in theory, with Alex Mack in there, with George Kittle in there, the 49ers should be able to pass block enough where you can run the football. And if you're Kyle Shanahan and you're with the 49ers, you have to think that if Jimmy Garoppolo throws 35 times or more, and that's just a general, if he throws 40 times, you're probably losing the game or you're trailing for most of the game.
Right. And he threw 40 times last week against Arizona, and I think he's thrown 40 one other time this season. He's roughly hovered around 27, 28 pass attempts this season. And to me, again, like we were saying, if this game goes how we think it might, where San Francisco tries to run the football, tries to dominate time of possession, keep the Rams offense off the field that way, well, then you're not going to really be throwing that much of Jimmy Garoppolo. And he's shown even this season, he can be impactful without dropping back, 30 plus times in a game. He can still put up a decent amount of yardage. Again, it's just, I don't think that that's how they're going to want to run their offense. If it turns into a shootout, then by all means, but I think their preference will be to run the football and try to keep it limited.
I agree completely. I have under Darrell Henderson rush attempts at 15.5. And I pointed out he averages 15.1 on the season. I don't think it necessarily I think we could see. So, all right. So I got the note in there, doesn't account for game script on both sides. So what I'm thinking is if the Rams have a big lead, they're going to let Sony Michel run late. They are not going to want to pile up carries on Darrell Henderson. If the 49ers have a lead, the Rams are going to be less likely to run the football. So I think ultimately we see them keep him at a specific number. McVay's one of those guys who's very control oriented, right? I mean, he's details oriented. I don't want to call him a control freak. The point being is I think that they have a specific target that they like to hit for Darrell Henderson. And when you start to see how many carries he gets on a weekly basis, you realize that this is not a guy that's getting a ton of carries on a week to week basis. 11, or here's his last 4 games: 11, 14, 15, 21. The 21 against the Giants back in week 6, 17, 14, 13, 16 for the year. He is their bell cow, but he is also they have, and they've said this through the media, like Jordan Rodriguez has mentioned this very clearly, like it's coming from Sean McVay. They are not completely convinced that Darrell Henderson can stay 100% healthy. They don't want to give him 20 carries. They want him to play the full season. They will limit his carries. I don't think we'll see him cross over the 15.5 marker, and you're getting plus money there. So I don't hate that.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's not like Henderson's been the most durable back over the course of his career. And when you have a guy like Sony Michel, former first-round pick, somebody that you can feel somewhat confident in to relieve some of those carries in the second half, especially if you have a lead, you're absolutely doing that. Again, not even, especially after, you're spooked a little bit by the injury bug. I'm sure that's in the back of your mind after Robert Woods has a freak ACL tear in practice on Friday. There was a... Yes, you don't really dictate your team off of what could happen injury-wise or whatever, but I guess you do try to prevent it somehow. You do try to limit guys that have that little bit of an injury history. So certainly, I'm right there with you with Henderson.
We'd like to get those unders out of the way early to let people know we're not just over guys. We can be under guys too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're very versatile.
I'm like only scouring the site for scouring Caesars for an under that I can take. Like there's got to be one out here somewhere. We do have some overs though. I have over Van Jefferson receiving yards, which at Caesar I believe is still available. Yep, it's at 47.5. Hasn't moved since last night. Look, man. Again, Odell Beckham was signed on Thursday. Very talented receiver. Robert Woods out for the year. They run 3 wide receiver sets more than any team in the NFL. It's like plus 60% plus. Van Jefferson is going to be on the field for basically 90+% of the snaps in this game. Odell Beckham doesn't know the full playbook. There's going to be some plays. I mean, he just can't. Like it's just there's not enough time. Van Jefferson is going to have somewhere in the range of 70 receiving yards because the 49ers are good against the run, not great against the pass. They're banged up. I mean, Josh Norman is one of the starting quarterbacks. Like, what are we doing? Van Jefferson, this is a smash for me with Van Jefferson.
Yeah, I like it too. And it's kind of why I like the over on Tyler Higbee's receptions at 4.5. High number, but you're getting it at plus 115. And it's on a very similar idea with the Rams offense. You know who's tied for number 3 on the team in targets for the Rams? It's Van Jefferson and Tyler Higbee. Number 2 was Robert Woods. Both of those guys are going to be elevated in the passing game, especially this week with Odell Beckham Jr. kind of easing his way in the offense. Probably won't have a full workload by any stretch of the imagination, just like you said, just because he hasn't been there for that long. I just think, again, it's Tyler Higbee, it's Van Jefferson this week who are going to get that increased target share with Woods' absence. So in last week, Higbee had 5 catches, I believe, on 10 targets. So to me, that's another one where I say, okay, you try to find the value where Robert Woods is going to be missing for this game. I think it's Van Jefferson and Tyler Higbee all the way.
I actually just bet Van Jefferson over receiving yards. It's going up. I got 49.5 and it's juiced over minus 125. So I think this is a number as we look like, and again, we record this at 11 a.m. on Monday. It should be in your feeds. Chris, what time do we get the pod? Not the judge, just legitimately curious. Like, we're lunchtime in the feed, right?
Yeah, we're lunchtime in the feed.
Okay, exactly. So I mean, like you can put your bets in around lunchtime. If we start leading up to Monday Night Football and we have a situation where Adam Schefter's on ESPN. He's like, league sources tell, or even Susie Colbert's like, we talked to Sean McVay and he's excited about Odell Beckham, but he knows he's going to be limited tonight. There just wasn't enough time to get him the full playbook. Like Van Jefferson's number is going to keep going up. There's no earthly reason it should be 47.5 with Robert Woods out for the year. He is.
Not only that, they'll just hype up Van Jefferson. I mean, we're talking about a great young receiver. It's not it's not like this is like some 7th rounder or anything like that. He's a legitimate receiver that they've been developing. So yes, Odell Beckham is nice. He's a great addition. It will be interesting to see how he develops. But when they lose Robert Woods, it's not like they're really going to the scrap heap here. Van Jefferson's a legit receiver.
Correct. And again, I just think this number is going to get into the mid 50s. So bet it now if you can get it. I like the Higbee over too. I think he's going to be featured. They're going to throw the ball a bunch in this game, and I also like the over on Deebo Samuel receptions. Mostly just an homage to Deebo, producer Deebo. The Deebo Samuel's over receiving yards 73.5 is that's. I mean, he could clear that in a heartbeat. Wouldn't be shocking at all. But the receptions should be cake. I mean, that should be free money. 5.5 catches. He's getting to 6 catches. Like this dude is a focal point of the offense for Kyle Shanahan. He's having a monster year. He has in his, let's see, here's his last, here's his season-long catches starting with week 1, 9, 6, 5, 8, 3, 7, 6, 5. And his targets in that same range, 12, 8, 10, 13, 9, 11, 9, 9. Like he's going to get 9+ targets. He has one game with less than 9 targets in the season. I mean, he's going to see 9 targets. If they're good targets, he's going to clear 5.5 easily. It is already juiced to the over, I believe. So again, let me see if it's moved at all.
It is interesting with
both. Just over minus 130. So yeah, I mean, that's probably going to go. I don't know if it goes up to 6.5.
Maybe
that's a lot.
That's a lot. I'm not sure about that, but it is interesting with Deebo, with both of these teams. Deebo Samuel and Cooper Kupp having monster seasons, and going into the year, it felt like Robert Woods and Brandon Ayuk were kind of like the sexy season-long picks for both of these teams.
Safe picks.
Yeah, it's just both Deebo and Cooper Kupp absolutely dominating. Deebo specifically, I feel like we were kind of waiting on like, all right, is he going to slow this down? When is he going to come back down to earth? But no, this is just who he is. He's been a force, not only in, for the 49ers, but season-long fantasy. And again, I expect him to go over this number 2. He's just that good of a receiver. And, I think, again, the 49ers will have some sort of, as much as we talk about, they're going to want to run the ball and all that, they're still going to have to drop back and pass with Garoppolo a decent amount in this game. Samuel will certainly go over. I like George Kittle's receiving yards over 59.5 in this game. He had 100 yards in his first, action last week after being on IR since week 4. And he's actually played the Rams pretty well in his career, which is really why I'm kind of hammering this one with Kittle. Over his 7 games against Los Angeles, where is it now? He is averaging 92.3 receiving yards per game. And again, went over 100 yards last week. It just feels like he is going to be the one that really moves the chains for them in this game. And so, again, strong history, coming off a good game, legitimate number, 2, top 5 tight end in the NFL. I'll lean on that all day.
Yeah, I have no problem with Kittle either. And when he's healthy, and he's out there, he's a focal point of the offense. Like the reason that they love George Kittle makes that offense go because he, they can do the stuff where they run one way and then they bring it back with the play action the other way. And the Kittle is perfect for that because he's such a good blocker and he flows out and he gets the ball in space. And man, you can get one Kittle catch over the middle and all of a sudden he's busting down the field, just blasting dudes out of his way, and you're over 60 pretty quickly. So I like that as well. The first touchdown scorer market. I was on chicken dinner with my buddy Sammy P, who's a New England guy, right? He's at Nesson now, isn't he?
I believe so, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he moved to Boston from Chicago, and I went on this long rant about these first touchdown markets, and frankly, like this one's no better. Sully, I mean, this is garbage. Like, what are we supposed to do with? And this is not like a Caesars rant. This is just a general market rant. I mean, Cooper Kupp 4.5 to 1. Darrell Henderson plus 525. Eli Mitchell plus 650, Deebo Samuel plus 950, Van Jefferson 10-1, George Kittle 11-1, Ayuk 11-1, Higbee 11-1, Sony Michelle 18-1, and Jimmy Garoppolo 35-1, and that's all that's available.
It's crazy.
What do we do with this?
And so I think this is what's interesting. I saw a tweet from our buddy Alan Bell. He's over at Sportsline, does the early edge. He's awesome. He's one of my old bosses at 24/7 too. And he had a tweet last night that I believe it was FanDuel Sportsbook was the one that had to pay this out. For the first touchdown for Tyreek Hill, they handed out over $1 million.
So everyone was just hammering Tyreek Hill at like 4-1.
But yes, also that, but also just people are hammering first touchdowns in these games.
It's that's what I was saying. Like now, everyone last year, people just didn't bet them, and now it's like the big thing to bet. So everyone's hammering them. So the books naturally are, you take L's and you lower the numbers, and that's just what they've done. So now these markets are not. The problem is I'm addicted to betting first touchdowns, so I'm not going to like suddenly stop betting first touchdowns. I like principal play. I like to have the guys be over 10-1. So Deebo at 9.5-1, George Kittle 11-1, Ayuk at 11-1. I think all three of those guys make a lot of sense from the San Francisco side. That's actually probably a pretty good price for the big three scores. And of course, you have Eli Mitchell there as well. If you can find a Jeff Wilson number, I don't hate it because maybe he gets a goal line carry or here or there he bust a run. Frankly, I'm pretty tempted just to unload on Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
I'm Van Jefferson 10-1. I'll bet too. I think is a perfectly fine one. And we have the same Ayuk and Higbee. Yeah, Kittle. Yep. I think those are the Ayuk, Kittle, Higbee. Yeah. I mean, those 11-1 guys. You don't love it, but I mean, it feels like everything else below 10-1 is just kind of a bad price.
Yeah, and again, I like Kittle where he's at 11-1. That's probably the one I like the most, just because, like we said, number one receiver or pass catcher in that offense, legit goal line threat. You can get that over 10-1. That's great odds. Higbee's another one, type of, that same narrative there. Robert Woods being out, you could talk same thing with Van Jefferson. I know what you mean though with Cooper Kupp, where it's just, all right, do you just lean into it? Like we've seen it over the last few weeks a little bit too, where it's like Najee Harris. Do we just hammer that because it's just so apparent, or Jonathan Taylor because it's just so apparent? It's a little bit different when it's a non-running back. I think it's a little bit more of a rolling of the dice. But with somebody like Cooper Kupp, yeah, I don't hate that at all if that's the way you want to go. I mean, we saw it last night with Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's the number one receiver for them, and he was the first one in the end zone. Yeah, I mean, basically, I think if you're betting this, the problem is that, if you get like Darrell Henderson could easily score the first touchdown. Yeah. You get Matthew. I mean, I keep betting Matthew Stafford. He just doesn't. He doesn't run down there. It doesn't feel like as much as I wanted to. But I mean, I wouldn't mind sprinkling on. If you're so inclined, you could sprinkle on Deebo, Kittle, and Ayuk. Right. So you got a 10-1 ish guys on the 49ers, and then put maybe like a unit and a half, or whatever. Make the money work where it's you're not gonna hit this and win like $10, but then also take Cooper Kupp at 4.5-1 as your only bet on the Rams. You know what I mean? So you have your three guys on the 49ers, and then you're one on the Rams. And if it loses, it loses, and you lose your money. But that's why it's called gambling. And we don't have an Odell Beckham, right? We don't have one up yet. I think I have one. Let me see if I got one on my little. The old local. Because even Sony Michelle at 18-1, I don't love. No, that's like that before used 30-1. So that's what I was gonna say. 30-1 bare ass minimum. It's ridiculous. That used to be a 28-1, 30-1 type of play there, and then you could start to have the conversation. Very similar, All right. I've got a Jeff Wilson number. What do you think Jeff Wilson's number should be, and what do you think? I mean, it should be what we were talking about with Sony Michelle at 28-1, 25-1, 30-1. There's 15-1. Sony Michelle's 13-1 here. I got to know Beckham at 10-1. Well, get out of here. Actually, I don't. The Odell thing is not that crazy. I could see Sean McVay forcing the ball to Odell Beckham, and in fact, that will be interesting to watch too. We didn't talk about that talking about the game, but like, I mean, does Odell Beckham being out there? Do we have I don't want to say a Baker Mayfield effect, but I mean, the Browns try to force the ball to Odell Beckham.
You could tell Baker Mayfield was always trying to force the ball to Odell Beckham. And when he's not out there, Baker distributes better. Is there an effect like that on Matthew Stafford tonight where Stafford tries to force the ball to Odell? And if there is, how does that, adversely affect the offense, et cetera?
I think there's a really good chance of that happening. And what makes me feel that way is, if you remember back earlier in the season, I think they were playing against Seattle. There was the whole narrative of Robert Woods having a really slow season. Everybody's saying, all right, well, he's not involved in the passing game as much. I mean, it was really more the fantasy community, but there was a lot of conversation of that going on. And that very game, they just said, you know what? This is the Robert Woods game. We're just going to feed him the football the entire way. And he racked up I think it was 12 or 14.
It was 150 receiving yards. Yeah.
It was insane. And so could they do that again when they're trying to incorporate a new receiver? This team, this head coach, this quarterback has shown us already this season that they are willing to do that.
The other one that I just want to look at, I'm going to principal play this, I think, if depending on if the snaps are high enough. I don't know. Ben Skowronek of the Rams. You know what I'm talking about? Old Ben. Had 3 catches in the matchup against the Texans. Has only played more than 15% of the snaps twice this year and only played 4% against Tennessee. But I think there's a decent chance he gets that number if they're trying to limit one of or they're trying to limit Odell Beckham. They don't want to give they're not going to give Odell 100% of the snaps. They're going to burn a bunch of 3 wide receiver sets. Maybe Skowronek gets out there as well. I think just decent shot. So
yeah, no, I agree with that. I believe that I gotta see if I can find it. I believe that there was a report that he would be involved, obviously, more with Robert Woods being out and them incorporating Odell Beckham in a little bit slowly. So that is not something that's going to come out of left field a little bit. I think that there's something to be said for that.
And he's 40-1 too.
Yeah.
So that's maybe worth a little stab. You never know. We see some weird touchdowns there. Just a thought. He's not on Caesars yet, but he should be up by this afternoon. All right, that's it for the gambling portion of the program. We're going to talk some DFS. Tricky slate to deal with over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/pick6. Make sure to check it out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you on the internet, Sully. Be magically transported to YouTube.
It's a very quick ride. It's a very quick transition.
My son told me he was going to cancel my YouTube channel again.
Oh, nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, he said, if you don't take me home right now, I am going to delete your YouTube channel.
Do you even have the power to do that on your end?
Nah, not at all. Not even close.
I was gonna say, did they really give you that much power over there? That seems like
I don't even know what the login is. I don't even know what the username or the password is.
I mean, I could do it, so he better not contact me.
There you go. All right.
My son's not old enough to bribe you, but he's probably he's old enough to bribe you. What am I talking about? He pulls crap like he loves we're like, hey, you need to do this. And he's like, I'm really tired. Like, you're not tired. You're lying about being tired to get out of doing stuff. Anywho, the pricing is kind of funked up over on DraftKings for this particular episode of the DFS or of the showdown slate. Cooper Kupp, 18K. My goodness. As the captain, Matt Stafford, 16.2. Jimmy G, 15K. Darrell Henderson, 13.8. Debo, 13.5. George Kittle, 11.7. Odell Beckham is 11.1. What are we doing?
That's the one to me where I was like, okay.
I was like, no chance in hell am I playing Odell Beckham. 9.9 for Brandon Ayuk. 9.6 for Eli Mitchell. Tyler Higbee, 9.3. That's everybody before the backup quarterbacks. Trey Lance is 9K. I think that's kind of interesting, just in the context of the Cardinal or the 49ers being terrible so far this year, 3-5. And maybe, I mean, Trey Lance is not priced up as if he might play, but I think there's a decent chance he, could, you never know, could see some action.
Goal line package or something.
Yeah. Or like the Rams are up 21-0 and they're like, screw it, pull the ripcord and just, bench Jimmy G. Van Jefferson, 8-1. Sony Michel, 7.5, and the Rams defense 6.9. Everything else sort of trickling down after that. Look at Trey Sermon. Remember when he was a thing? I hate everything.
I do. I remember drafting him over the summer. And
me too.
Yeah, don't love that.
GDI. So where do you start with the captain spot here?
I mean, I really don't like we were saying, I don't love the prices for Cup. Obviously, I want to get him in there in some capacity, but I just don't know if I really feel like spending 18K to do that. To me, if I'm looking for San Francisco, it's a guy that we both have been talking up on the betting pot of it more. In Van Jefferson, somebody who I think is cheap, could have a big game, could be that number 2. I think is going to get a ton of volume. If you're looking for value, to me, Van Jefferson is someone who I like.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's start with plug old Van Jefferson in there. And I think the way that this pricing is set up, you're going to have. I think I was doing some runs earlier. It is really easy. Let's say you just. I mean, don't change it, Chris. But I'm just like, if you want to go Cooper Kupp as the captain, I'm pretty sure. I mean, you can get pretty much anybody you want in there. Like
Yeah.
you can go Cooper Kupp and get Stafford, Van Jefferson, Debo, and Eli Mitchell, along with Skoranek, our boy, at $200. He's the stone cold man.
I was gonna say he's the one who I think is gonna get a lot of action, and
He's the $200. Yeah, he's the $200 heat for this particular setup. All right, but I'm the captain now. Where are you going with this with Van Jefferson as your captain?
I mean, I'm sure again, like you can fit Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford. This is probably one of those 4-2s that we would probably build, because I think you could fit in Henderson in there as well and still. No, actually, maybe not. Let me see. Let's get rid of Henderson.
By the way, I just want to. I mean, like, I don't expect you to have listened to the podcast last night, but did you happen to listen to the podcast? If not,
I did not today. No.
Okay, we were. It was recorded like 9 hours ago. So Breach claimed, and there's a tweet out there. Breach claimed that he once threw. So he's like, I once threw. Wilson asked me if he ever threw a pass as a punter, right, or as a kicker, and he claimed that there was a snap over his head and that he threw a 55-yard touchdown pass. It was his only pass attempt ever in the history of his playing career. And we're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, he was playing for D3 Hanover. And so we're like, I was like, look, I'm researching. Like, I'm going to spend 6 hours this week researching this just to prove you wrong. I'm going to call the Hanover, like the SID, like, hey, like I need some stats from. And Bruce was like, well, the only problem is there was a flag on the play, so there's actually never like the play never happened. We're like, okay, that's convenient. And
so it's his Robert Hunt moment where it's the touchdown that never happened.
It never happened, right? And then he's like, and it was also a JV game, so I don't know that it'll necessarily show up. Well, we get. Our good friend Matt Snyder, who does listen to the show, he listened to the show and he texted me and Wilson a few minutes ago. He's holy bleep, Chad. This guy's one of my best friends who is on the team. He's I'm going to text him, and he texted the tweet to Chad, and he gets a text back. He said, "That is amazing. I don't remember that ever happening because I played defense, but it sounds awesome." It's like, no, it didn't happen. He's a liar, confirmed liar, and we will confront him after the Monday Night Football game. Anywho, sorry. Continue on with the DraftKings.
No problem.
That unfolded in real time as I was watching it, and I thought I'd tell the story.
Let me see if I can pull it up now. I obviously just got rid of it. I actually pulled up an interesting one with Cooper Kupp. If we want to kind of shake it up a little bit, if you don't mind.
No, do whatever you want.
So
before you don't clear it yet. We'll let the auto thing do it because I like the idea of Van Jefferson captain.
Sure.
So if we go Van Jefferson captain, this is kind of a good one. So let's go Van Jefferson captain. You got Cooper Kupp. Take Jimmy G out of there and put in Deebo Samuel. We're gonna do a Rams onslaught, which is I mean, like I'm betting the 49ers, but Rams onslaught ain't out of the question. So Stafford, Henderson, and Skoranek. You leave $700 on the table. Yep. Look at that bad boy. That's not a terrible lineup at all.
No, not at all.
I mean, that's just Rams come into San Francisco and just annihilate them, which I mean, look, entirely possible. Rams are a really good football team.
Yeah.
All right, so let's clear that out. And your Cooper Kupp idea.
I was gonna say but talking about that one you just made, it's a very similar kind of style. If we're talking about a Rams onslaught, we're trying to find that right captain. You can still go Cooper Kupp. You can go and you can have this onslaughty type of an outcome here. You can put in Van Jefferson if you'd like. You would still have some room, I believe, but you can go Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Kittle would be one of your 49ers. You go Higbee, our Stone Cold Mint, and Elijah Mitchell.
He's not even Ben Skornick. He's just our
They're
Stone
Stone
Cold
Cold Mint. Mostly because I'm afraid to say his last name because I'll probably butcher it and then have a Tyrann Mathieu moment.
Man. There we go. I don't mind that lineup at all. Now, the only, I mean, and again, like maybe it's I think Sony Michel is an important piece if you think it's going to be a Rams blowout because he's going to get a ton of carries in a situation where the Rams are up a lot. And obviously, if the Rams are down a lot, you don't want Henderson or Michelle in there. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. The one, it's hard to like looking at this. It's hard to pinpoint what the game script. No, I'll say this too. If I might rather have Jeff Wilson with that amount of money left than Skowronek.
Yeah,
because Wilson could get some legitimate run at $1,200. I mean, and you still got $1,000 left over. I mean, he is a very intriguing piece. I think just because who the hell knows what Kyle Shanahan's going to do with his running backs, right? Like he can rotate him in and out, and Wilson should get some snaps. Eli Mitchell is probably going to be the bell cow, but certainly could get some snaps. Yeah, I mean, I like that lineup. Yeah, it's basically. In fact, that's got some good like Rams roll potential. Let's do one in which the 49ers are the winning team.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, do you have Deebo Samuel as the captain or do we go Eli Mitchell?
If we're going with it depends on what kind of victory we guess we're talking about. If we're talking about like a 49ers roll, then we're probably going with the running back, right?
Yeah.
But if we're going to go with a shootout, they kind of come out with it at the end, which is probably a little bit more likely, then I think Deebo would probably be our move.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think it's a very likely situation that the 49ers just completely put the clamps on the Rams. I mean, like you get the Rams down, I mean, McVay's going to dial up a ton of passes and Stafford's going to be winging it all over the place. So you could even have 49ers win by 10. Stafford is the optimal captain. That's not crazy at all. But let's go Deebo there. Again, we're talking about a shootout. So this is a scoring fest. So we want to have Stafford. I think you got to have Garoppolo if you're going to, oh boy, this is going to be pricey.
If you're going to have I know what you mean. If you're going to have Deebo, you might as well, I guess, double down with Garoppolo.
Yeah. Although I'd rather have Stafford and Kupp and ditch. Man, Garoppolo, nobody's going to be on Garoppolo. Garoppolo captain. I mean, well, anyway, so let's
maybe save him for a Costanza type of move.
Yeah, let's take Garoppolo. Yeah, exactly. Gonna toss Kupp in there. We're gonna ditch the running backs. Which is look, if you ditched the running backs last night, you came out, Sunday Night Football. Running backs didn't do well. I take that back. Darrell Williams was great, but he was great in the receiving game. I almost won the damn thing with him as my captain.
You mean Josh Jacobs?
No.
Darrell Williams. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, I'm saying I was thinking about the Chiefs didn't even run.
I'm thinking Darrell Henderson.
No. Yeah.
Too many Darrells.
Okay, so the question is now, do we go with because we're going to pick one of Kittle. Oh no, you can do Kittle and then you can also do Eli Mitchell. Excuse me, Ayuk. I do Ayuk. You can do Ayuk and Eli Mitchell. Take Kittle out, and we'll do Eli Mitchell. So we're trying to max out by going down to Deebo as the captain. He's still expensive, but we're trying to max out. And then where we're going here, Chris. You can go ahead and smash that Skowronek button. Watch. By the way, Skowronek's going to be inactive in this entire DFS thing. It's going to be a disaster. Let's see. He's questionable. So yeah, I mean, if you are planning to use him at $200, you're going to need to have a backup plan. I guess you could go to Ross Dwelly. Trent Sherfield. I haven't seen him run lately. Atwell's out for the year. All these dudes are out. So yeah, I mean, make sure you have a backup plan if in the event that Skowronek is out, if he's $200, because like with the way this is set up, we don't have enough to get to get to like Trey Sermon and pray that he gets a carry, right? I mean,
right.
So you have to just be prepared for that if you're watching this and you're building your lineups that way. You don't want to have to go back and completely reconfigure everything, which is may be the case. I suppose you could always
maybe maneuver, try to get yourself up to Wilson. Maybe you try to do something there.
Yeah, or even drop down to Higbee. That gets you at least up to Trey Sermon, who again, like Trey Sermon's not getting any run at all. I mean, he has like one carry in the last 4 weeks, but you never know. Something weird could happen. Yeah. So that's the play there. Is there a Costanza overload? What's our Costanza lineup?
I mean, does it have to be? It has to involve Odell Beckham, right?
Oh, that's actually a good point.
It has to, right? It's one of the
Sully froze up.
breakout game one.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't. It's what we could call that the Costanza, or we could just call it the Odell Beckham needs to, is going to show out in his Rams debut lineup, whatever that may be.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So let's clear it out. Do we want to go with?
I don't know if I want to go with him at captain.
No. I mean, 11-1. He's just not going to be like. Are people going to want to play him?
I think he'll get.
All right, so Tom Pelissero reported he's going to make his debut in limited fashion. I don't even know that we. So I'm just reading the update. Even so, Pelissero and Glazer both note that because he doesn't play the same position at receiver as Woods, Beckham won't be a direct replacement in the starting lineup, at least not for week 10. Instead, rookie Ben Skwarnik is in line to start for Woods on Monday, but expects, oh my goodness gracious, Skwarnik! I'm betting that dude first touchdown. I'm betting that right now.
Sure. Do we go Skwarnik captain?
Oh, all right. Now let's cook with some gas.
Let's get weird.
$300
though. I don't know if we have it in us.
What's that?
$300 for the captain. I don't know.
I love it. I love it. All right. So if you go $300 for the captain, you can do whatever you want. Like, I mean, look, let's do, all right, Skwarnik. I'm entering this one too. Can't wait till this guy's inactive and it ruins my day. All right. So Skwarnik, obviously Cooper Kupp, Stafford. I want guys who put up numbers. So I'm going Debo, Ayuk. I mean, you can do whatever you want, basically. And then you want Henderson in there, or
yeah, I mean, if you go Ayuk and Debo with that, I mean, you fit anybody you want. Garoppolo, Henderson, Kittle. You can throw Beckham in there if you want to get weird.
You want to go Garoppolo, Henderson, Kittle. I don't want to. If Beckham's gonna be limited, I don't want anything to do with Beckham.
So if we're doing the Beckham limited, it's going to be our, maybe then it's Higbee.
Higbee's fine, or Jimmy G, or Henderson, or Kittle. How about Kittle?
Sure, that's fine.
You leave 3,500 on the table. Good Lord. Man, yeah.
That is also that's an over game. That's an over lineup. That's
an over lineup for sure. Yeah. What a score! Is it Skwarnik just caught his third touchdown of the game? Phil is the Rivers, the old Rivers Manning cast as he watches it happen. Yeah, I don't hate that. Is there can you talk yourself into a 49ers 4-2 49ers? Or I guess it'd be 2-4 technically because they're the underdog. So in other words, we go. So we're gonna have. All right, let's clear that one out. Just randomly building lineups out here. Let's see. I'm gonna put. Let's put Kittle in the captain spot.
Yeah, I love that.
Debo, Ayuk, Eli. Can we get? Nope, can't get Stafford. You could do Robbie Gold. You could do Cooper Kupp as your lone wolf 49 Rams. And look, like we don't think that that's a possibility, but the Rams just got blown out by the Titans.
Yeah.
Not blown out, but I mean, like it was an under game. The Rams offense was pathetic. We didn't see a ton of Matthew Stafford was horrible. Like it's possible for the optimal lineup not to include Matthew Stafford. Toss Robbie Gold in there and we'll have our that's our 49ers onslaught. And you could say that's not going to happen, and that's fine. It's probably not going to happen. I don't think that it's likely that the 49ers come out and just annihilate. I should probably have Jimmy G in there if we're doing that, but whatever. I don't think it's likely the 49ers come out and annihilate the Rams. However, we've seen the Rams again. We've seen the Rams lose to the Titans in embarrassing fashion, and the 49ers are desperate. And a lot of people, myself included, thought they're a good team coming into the season. So it's just not. It's not out of the question that they come out, look great on offense, put up some numbers. They're at home on prime time on Monday Night Football. Like they're going to be motivated to do that. So I don't hate the idea of having a couple lineups. If I'm doing 10 lineups, I'm going to have 3 or 4 of them being 49ers heavy because I think the field largely will gravitate towards the Rams.
Yeah, you can balance yourself out for sure. And if you do take out Cup, you can put in Garoppolo, and then you can fit in take out Gould, and you can put in Higbee, Van Jefferson, whichever kind of Ram you're really feeling outside of the big names.
Yep. All right. That's the DFS portion of the program. Sully, as always, a pleasure, buddy. We will talk to you on Thursday.